So, hi guys, welcome back to an episode where I'm talking about how to navigate on a Midas M32. And this is the second time I'm doing this live because last time my mic was distorting and I didn't know. So I forgot to do some gain staging from my mixer to my sound card, which I've done now. So my voice is supposed to sound cleaner, and I still want to confirm because in case I don't want to finish this live video and now find out that my voice was still sounding like frog while I was live to really pay me. So guys, this is going to be a live and detailed session. For you guys that have been following me for a while, you understand that I like doing live videos for when it comes to education. It's always live videos because I don't want it to be like doing and then I'm later editing. I didn't even get my point. So I always want to make sure that I'm live. I think I forgot to do something to my thumbnail. I need to set my thumbnail to. So, chat. If you guys can hear me, uh, if you guys can hear me, please can you write in the comment section to tell me if my voice is clean. To be sure, I just want to confirm. I want to confirm. I want to be sure. So just tell me if my voice sounds clean online. If you guys can hear me, please. I'm waiting for you guys before we keep on moving. So trying to check my phone. So it's showing live, then I need to check. So it's still showing me the preview of live video I did, so I need to go back.
Alright, someone is okay. I think someone has responded.
Okay, your voice is clear, man. That's very good. Thank you very much. So let's move. Thank God somebody spoke out, because imagine I went for 30 minutes to 1 hour and I find out that my voice has been distorting the whole time. That's why I have to be on this chat to read this thing. Thank you guys very much. So let's keep on going. So guys, I have a 3-camera setup. So this camera you're looking at me over here is camera from my Mac laptop. Then I have another camera over here. You can see it over here. I'm touching it. So that one is a Samsung phone on the screen to capture the screen, and this is the view over here. This is how it looks like. Then I have a Canon 80D looking taking a full shot of the whole console so you guys can see everything I'm going to do today. So I'm going to be showing you how to navigate on this board, and even how to navigate on any other board you have never met met before. How to navigate on any board is very easy, and the way it works is you have to look at what we call parameters. I can't believe I'm going over this again. So you have to look at parameters. And what are parameters? If you look over here, you see like a white line going around this place. That's a parameter. This is another one again. This is another bigger one. This is another one. And then this is another one again. This is another one. This is another one, which is your screen. Then this is another big one. Then this is another bigger one. Half of this one. Then this is another one. This is another one. This is another one. And this is another one. This is another one. So these parameters hold different sessions and different processing. So every company or every company has the way they design their things. Every digital mixer looks similar and works similar. It's just some companies just try to do their things a certain way, and sometimes they can use a network that nobody's using. Like Midas mixers now, they use AES-50, which is their own internet protocol to transmit audio between a stage box and their mixer. Another mixer can use another network protocol. Thank God we have a global network protocol we call Dante. I think it's called Digital Audio Network over the internet. So with that, you can connect to any device that is not from the same company. So every company has the way they do their stuff. So I need to learn how they do their stuff. So if you can use this board, which is the Midas M32, if you get to a Midas HD 960, you'll be able to use it too. Although there'll be some they'll introduce some complex things to you that you just need to learn over and just learn how it works. So guys, let's keep on going. So I talk about parameters. If you look over here, you see different parameters, you understand? Different parameters. And each of those parameters have one similar button. And that button is view. If you look at this parameter over here, which is your configuration and preamp, there's a view button which gives you a screen support. If you look at your gate and dynamics, which is this parameter, this parameter is 2-in-1. So you have another one over here, which is your gate and your dynamics. Then you have another bigger one over here, which is your equalizer. Then you have another bigger one over here, which is your bus send. Then you have another one over here, which is your recorder. This one is for your main bus send and your mono center send. Then you have this bigger one, which is your fader, your input section. Then you have another bigger one on the right side, which is your output section. And then you have one over here, which is your main left and right, that's your main bus. Then you have another section over here, which these guys are for assignables. They don't have anything doing. You have to assign them to something to do something. Then over here is your multi group session. Then this is your monitor parameter, then your talkback parameter, then your screen. You understand? So everything has a view button, everything. Check your view, your recorder, your main bus, your monitor. I hope you don't want to sleep. So this is your talkback, this is your show files, and this is your assignables. The only thing that doesn't have a view button is your inputs and your output section. Now let's keep on going. Now let's start with the parameters, which is this first one over here, which is written or tagged as your configuration and preamp. What does it do? You guys should give me a few seconds. I want to share this live video to my WhatsApp status so that some other people can join this live video. I just remember that I had to do that. So let's go. So yes, live. Copy, share, copy. I even need to watch and confirm my voice. Live video. Just remember that I had to do that. Yeah, it sounds clean. So let me share this live video to my WhatsApp broadcast list. So in less than 10 seconds, we're going to continue. Paste. Then please share to your status. 100% love. Then also I need to share to my WhatsApp status too. So guys, this is going to be a very detailed video. So it's actually going to be a long video, and I'm going to move very fast because I want you to come back to this live video. Yes. So that you watch it again and over again and over again. So I'm currently trying to boost my watch hour time, which is why I'm doing all these long videos. And apart from that, I'm still trying to do something educative to my audience, so that I believe in impacting people. This thing I'm doing is not everyone that does it. Nobody will sit down and show you how things work, because this is just 001. I'm going to talk about other things, routing, patching. I'm going to show you how to everything about your show file, everything about your library, everything about your setup, your metering, your home. So this is just about navigation. So hopefully I will continue this live session and keep on posting and going live, so that you guys can watch this. Thank you for the like. So this is just about navigation. So let's continue. I talked about your configuration. So let's start with the first parameter, which is tagged as configuration and preamp. Now, under your configuration and preamp, you have two knobs. And what are these two knobs doing? So the first one is your gain knob. What's your gain knob? Your gain is an encoder used to set how much volume you want to get into the console. That what your gain knob is for. Your gain knob is not a volume knob, because I find that most guys um use their gain on or trim knob to mix. So there are guys like that, especially on analog mixers, which is very, very wrong. Your gain knob is an encoder used to set your input volume,
Signal.
your signal.
Stream.
You understand? If your signal is coming in too hot, you increase. Sorry, you decrease. If it's coming in too low, you increase. So most time, professionals target minus 18 dB as their input volume. So if they want to gain stage their kick drum, they'll set their gain to when it's peaking on 18 dB. That's minus 18 dB, and you understand that the highest dB we can capture is 0. If you go across 0, which is distortion and clipping. So if you see my signal over here, it's reaching around minus 10. If I shout, maybe it's louder. Although I have my compressor on to tame my voice a little bit so it will not go to clip. So that's what your gain knob is for. It's an encoder used to set your volume input. Then under your gain knob, you see two buttons over here. Then you see a 48 volt button and your polarity inverse button. So your 48 volt is used to send, like, there's some microphones that you need to send 48 volts to those mics. You need to switch on your phantom button to power the mic on. And most of those mics are condenser mics, which are very sensitive mics. So those mics need plus 48 volts to function. So mind you, I don't ever think of switching on 48 volts on a microphone that doesn't need it before you blow up the microphone. So this mic I'm using over here is a Shure SM58, and it doesn't need it. It's just a normal dynamic mic. But if I was using a condenser mic like a Rode NTA 1 or a Rode NTA 2 or some Behringer mics, you need that 48 volts to switch power it on. So the next thing over there is your configuration and preamp. And the configuration and preamp is your low cut button. This button over here is your low cut button. If you press view down, which will show you processing on the channel, and this is my microphone. You understand? I just need a little bit of echoing on it so it sounds good. If I switch it off, there's some kind of noise on it, so I like it like this. So let's pause on these parameters and let's talk about the console and what it has. You understand? What does this console have? So this is a Midas M32, and the code name came from the number of inputs it has. It has 32 inputs. Not actually 32 inputs, but 32 XLR inputs. Then it has 4 TRS inputs. That's your normal jacking inputs. I said 6. So you have 32 inputs, you have 32 XLR inputs, you have 6 TRS inputs, you have some USB inputs, then you have some effects inputs. So those are all the inputs you have. So if you check all your inputs, it's more than 32. So it's close to 32 plus 16. That's around so it's actually more than 32. You understand? So the way it works is on an analog board. You understand? When you plug something to your channel 1, it reflects on your input 1. It reflects on your channel 1 automatically by default. There's nothing you want to do about it. It's patched. So if you plug it on your input 2, it will appear on your input 2. If you plug it on your input 3, it will appear on your channel 3. On your input 4, channel 4. Input 5, channel 5. That's another it keeps on going because it's patched already. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you plug something on your digital mixer, especially this Midas M32, you can actually tell it to come into any channel. So that's how flexible it can be. So if you check over here, you can see this is my voice over here on my channel 1. I can make my voice come out from channel 16 just by going to home. Then you can see input source. Then I can change my input source to come from that channel 1 again. So my voice will start coming in from that channel 16 too. You can see it coming out. So if I really shout, you'll be able to see it. So if I push it up, you hear another different version of my voice in it. So this is also my voice. So if I move this one, check, 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 check. So that was how flexible a digital mixer can be. So the flexibility is what makes it complex, very complex. The fact that you can route anything to anywhere makes it very complex. So the same thing applies to your output. This console has 16 outputs and 16 mix buses. And this mix buses is actually 22 mix buses, not 16, because you actually have extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have extra buses which are matrix buses. They are also buses. So we have different kind of bus. There are mix buses, there are group buses, there are effect buses, there are many types of buses. There are main buses, you understand, there are mono buses, different configuration. So these are also buses over here. So that what makes it 22. So you have 16 inputs, then you have 32 inputs, sorry, then 16 outputs. So this input and outputs don't really correlate with what's happening at the back of the board. So you can plug anything anywhere and tell it to appear anywhere. So I can send my bus 1 or my aux 1 to output 1, which is already routed by default, but it can also go out to through output 2, output 3, output 4. You understand? I can send my bus 1 to output 1, 2, 3, 4. You can actually patch them that way. So I see routing on this Midas M32 like a spider web that you need to get into it carefully, because even if I'm a professional, I still find it very hard. Routing is very hard because routing works with your head. You have to keep like you have to have memory of what's happening on the board, because it's just like the way spiders catch flies. So if a fly lands on a spider web, the more that fly struggles, the more the web tangles the fly. That's what makes routing hard. If you don't come out carefully, you keep on going around the circles and it will scatter your head. Yes, that's the truth. It will scatter your head. So thank you very much, Basit, for subscribing. Thank you very much. So let's keep on going. So just telling you a little bit of the complexity of this mixer. So this is the configuration, which I told you this is your gain knob and this is your high pass filter or your low cut, used to take out the low end of any instrument you don't want. So if you have any channel you want to take out the low end, this is enough to do that. It also acts like an equalizer, but a one band equalizer. So the next thing you see over here is your gate. You understand? This is your gate threshold knob, and this is the activate and the deactivate. This is your compressor knob, activate and deactivate. This is your low cut too, activate and deactivate. If it's not shining bright yellow, it's not activated. This is your 48 volts, which is shining red. You see, when I did that on my mic, it actually almost it went off, because this mic doesn't need 48 volts. You can actually burn the mic doing that. Then this is your polarity shift, and you see my voice is sounding kind of weird because when I shifted it. So polarity is all about the phase, swapping the phase from positive terminal to negative terminal. So this is actually for professionals. At this moment, cannot really understand what phase is. So let's go to our to the next parameter, the third one, which is your equalizer. Please, can you give me the charger of this Mac? It's really running down. So let me see, 10%. So I need to charge my Mac laptop. So let's keep on going. So this is your equalizer over here, and this is the parameter. And your equalizer has 4 bands: 1, 2, 3, 4. So in those days when mixers just came out, some analog mixers, we had just one knob, one band, and those bands, that band controls the presence. If you shift it to the right, to give you brightness. If you shift it to the other side, to make it cold and give it more bass. So that's you're actually switching off my lights and my camera. So it's not charging yet. Is it charging? Be very careful. Oh, it's not yet charging.
I think the charger is bad.
No, the charger is not bad. Check that spot you charged. You plugged it in. Yes, it's charging now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let's keep on going. So in those days when we had analog mixers, those analog mixers were just what do you call it? It's just one knob. This thing is shaking. Wait, leave it alone first. Let's just see. So it was just one knob. I understand that knob controls the presence, the hotness and the coldness. Then as time went on, things will actually become more advanced. We now had equalizers with two bands, one controlling the high and one controlling the low. Then after then it's advanced to 3, which is your high, mid and your low. That's how it kept on going. Then it advanced to 4, which is your high, your mid shift and your low. So that mid shift is to sweep around the mid. So it's now becoming more flexible. So it's not just that frequency are tight, so you can actually shift to target more frequencies. So then went up to 5, you understand, then to 7. So the 7 is very complex. If I'm going to use an analog mixer to be an analog mixer that has 7 bands, which is your high mid, your mid, your low mid, your high mid, then your high mid shifts, then your mid, then your low mid, then your low mid shifts, then your low. That's 7 bands. So if I'm going to work with an analog mixer, it must have 7 bands. So there's this popular EODesk analog mixer. I've forgotten the model number that has 7 EQ bands. But on this digital mixer, we only have 3. Let me press view down to show me the equalizer. This is the spectrum over here, where you see everything, every frequency bouncing around. If I select my voice, to show me the voice, my EQ on my voice. So this is your spectrum. So if you're just moving from an analog mixer to a digital mixer, it's very hard for you to understand this spectrum, because this is just a spectrum with a x and a y axis. On the x axis is showing your dB, you understand, above 0 and below 0. And let me swap to my other camera. And on the other side, which is your which is showing the frequencies. So if I say something like letter S, you can see it's around 10 kilohertz, which is in the eyes. You understand? So this thing you're seeing bouncing around is called an RTA, a real-time analyzer. It's showing you the spectrum of different frequencies relating to each other. So now we can treat sound with our eyes and not just with our ears. Those times, in those days, we do use we use our ears to mix, but now you can now use your eyes and see things visually, and also use your ears, making it more advanced. So for your equalizer, you have 4 bands, and the first band is your high, second one is your high mid, then your low mid, then your low. And these guys, they are very flexible. You can use your high to take out your low. You can use your high mid to take out your high. You can use your low to take out your high. It's very, very flexible. They are very, very flexible. So if I come to an empty channel, which is channel 2, I have to select that channel. You understand? Then it will show me everything on the screen. You understand? Then if I select on my eye, which is my eye knob, which is this first one over here, this is the width, this is the frequency, and this is the gain. So if this is the width, it will show you the width of the signal. This is the frequency. So if I shift it, you can see it's moving. Let me transition. You can see it's moving up and down. You understand? It's moving. You can actually go to the low. You understand? Let's go back to our eye. You understand? And this last knob over here is your gain knob of that particular frequency. So if I shift that frequency upward, you can see it's going upward and it's going downward. So also, apart from the width, frequency, and gain, it also has mode. So even this is my high frequency, it also has some mode over here. So let me transition back. So if you look over here, which is far away, I'm not sure you can see that. This is on high cut shelf. You understand? I can change the mode to high cut. Let me switch on my EQ so you can see that. I'll switch on the EQ, the equalizer. Let me shift the frequency to around 1 kilohertz. So I can change the mode to a normal parametric EQ, to a VEQ, to an high shelf, and to an high cut. So it can always shift. So these 4 bands are very, very flexible reset. So if I want to access this my high mid, I have to click on my high mid to change to the second band. If I click on my low mid to change to the third band, it will light up. Then my low will light up. Then this is where your low cut comes in. Remember when we talked about your first configuration, your preamp. This is your low cut. If I switch it on and move, you can see it's taking out the the low end of your signal. If I switch it off, it's go away. So that's for the equalizer. You understand? The equalizer, you have 4 bands, and the 4 bands you can use it to alter or change the identity of a particular signal. So the next parameter is your bus sense. You understand? So I told you we have 16 buses. You understand? We have 16 buses. So I'm going to come down to the channel first. So we'll come back to our parameters. So let's come back to our channels. So the way all digital mixers works is they use what we call variables. You understand? They store variables in variables. So you need to keep some things in your head because you cannot see everything at once. That's one thing about about digital mixer. If it's an analog mixer, you see all the channels stretched along. But over here, you can't see the whole channels. You understand? Stretched along. All the channels are stored somewhere in a bank, which you cannot see, but you can actually access them. So you have 32 inputs, you understand, which is 32 channels. And I told you this section over here is your input channel. It does everything about your inputs, you understand. So this is, if you count how many faders that is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You have 16 faders over here. So where is my 17 to 32? So remember this guy over here, this section over here is for output. So you cannot find your input here. So to access your 17 to 32, because this is just showing me 1 to 16, there is what we call a fader bank. And if you check your fader bank over here, you see that there are 4 buttons over here. Look over to this side, 4 buttons. This first button is showing you your 1 to 16. If you click on this second button, to now show you your 17 to 32, which was stored. So no fader is assigned to anything. So if I do something on my 1 to 16, I shift anything, you understand? By the time I click my 17 to 32, everything will move to what is in my 17 to 32. I ain't saying there was nothing in my 17 to 32. I can now move some other things, move some things, you understand? Then when I click back to my 1 to 16, go back to what was there, come back to my 17 to 32. So the fader will actually move, you understand? The fader will move to what was there before. So that's how it works on every digital mixer. The fader moves. You have motorized faders, you understand, that can move according to what bank you're on. So let's go back to our 1 to 16 channels, you understand. So apart from your 1 to 32 channels, which is on the first 2 fader banks, this is the first 1 to 16. The second one is 17 to 32. Then you now have some other inputs, and these inputs are the green ones you are seeing over here. You have 6 green ones, which are your TRS in. If you check the back of the console, you see 6 inputs. 6 inputs. Mind you guys can ask questions. There's a reason why it's a live video. You can actually ask questions. I'm actually reading the chat. I'm on the chat right now. So these green channels over here on your third fader bank are your auxiliary ins. So you have 6 auxiliary ins, which are TRS, your normal jack ins at the back of the console. When you plug them into the console, it will appear here. You understand? Then the next ones, you see 2 channels over here, which are yellow. I'm not sure my camera can see that color. You understand? I'm not sure my camera can see the color, can differentiate between yellow and green from that distance. So that's actually your orange, not yellow. So this channel is your USB input. So you can plug something to your USB recorder and to show when you can play music from over there, and this is where it will reflect. This is where the music will come in through these two guys. So they are actually linked. You can see I'm pushing just one. The second one is following. If I push this one too, it will follow. I see because they are linked to a stereo channel. There's mono channels. All these guys are mono channels, so they're together. I can actually link two channels together if I want. I can link my aux1 and aux2 together. Come over here, select, then come over here. No, I'm not sure I can link aux, but I can link channels. So this is my channel 3 and 4. Let me link. So my channel 3 and 4 will move together because they are linked. So you can actually link in digital mixers. It's not like analog mixer that when you do something on the left, you have to replicate the same thing on the right and just pan them left and right. You understand that kind of thing. So that's for the yellow channels. There is a stereo channels for your USB playback. Then you now have some purple channels, and these purple channels are tricky. They're very, very hard to understand. So where these purple channels work for, they are all effect inserts. So before we come back, before I can explain this guy, I have to explain something else to you. So let's jump and go to our output section first. So on our output section, we have your output. So you have 32 inputs and you have 16 outputs. You understand? So and your 16 outputs are assigned to buses. So if you check how many buses you have 22 buses. You understand? And the first 16 are normal mixed buses, and the last 6 are matrix buses. So I can actually, if I want to count all the buses I have, it's actually more than 22. I have 12 mixed buses, 4 effect buses, so that's 16. Then I have 6 matrix buses. That's 22. Then I have a mono bus over here. That's 23. Then I have my main left and right. You understand? That's 24 buses that it does. But they'll tell you 16. These guys are also buses. So let's come to our buses. So the way I told you that channels don't necessarily mean inputs don't necessarily mean channels. You can plug anything to anywhere on the back and tell it to appear anywhere on the board, but it doesn't mean you should start scattering your inputs. Everything should be symmetrical actually. So it's the same way your buses doesn't correlate with what is the outputs on the back. You actually have 16 XLR outputs, and by default your mix bus 1 is assigned to your output 1 on the board. Your mix bus 2 is assigned to your output 2. That's how it goes on. So you have 16 buses. This is your first 8. So to access the other 8, you understand, you need to flip your fader. So you have to go to your fader bank. I told you variables are being stored, you understand, in bank and fader. So to see your 9 to 16, you have to click on the second button, which is over here. So this is the rest of your buses. This is 9 to 16, 1 to 8, 9 to 16. But one funny thing now is you are seeing your 13, 14, 15, and 16 are actually purple colors. They are not blue like the rest. So you have blue colors and sorry. So let's keep on going. So you have your main buses are blue, but the last 4 buses are actually purple, and those buses have been assigned for effects. You understand? They are also mixed buses, but there are effects on them, and they have 4 different effects on them. And the way it works is those of you that have worked with analog mixers that are very professional on analog mixers, you understand the difference between parallel patching and series patching. You understand? So the way this guy works is, this is a bus end. Now let's start with our bus one first. Let's select our bus one. So what's a bus? A bus, you all know what a bus is. Bus is something that carries a group of people from a point A to a point B. So a bus on a digital mixer is actually is a mix bus that can carry a set of certain channels in different spectrum to a particular place. You understand? To an output. So we use buses for outputs, for auxiliary outputs. You understand? We use them for effects. We use them for groups. So automatically all your channels are routed to your main bus, which is this last one over here, that is on 0 dB. This is the last one over here. All your channels are routed to your main bus. If you want to remove them, you can just select and remove them from the stereo bus. Select and remove from the stereo bus. Select and remove. Select and remove. Select and remove. So you guys can actually ask questions too. I'm actually here if you need any questions, but maybe the questions you want to ask, I'm still going to cover them. So this is your main bus over here. You understand? Every channel is routed to that main bus. You understand? Is routed to that main bus by default. But now you still have mixed buses, other buses that you can use as other outputs to other places. So if my main left and right is serving maybe my line array left and right, my speakers left and right, that's front of house. If I want to do a stage monitor, what do I do that stage monitor? What you actually use is mix buses, which are auxiliary outs that you can actually mix something else and send to them. You understand? So if I select my mix bus 1, you understand, I can assign this bus to an output 1, which is going to be plugged to an amplifier and is going to run a keyboard monitor. And my mix bus 2, I can send it to maybe a drummer's in here. Then my mix bus 3, I can send it to a different place. So they can actually do outputs for you, different zones for you. So that what mix buses are for. They are independent buses. You can make independent mix of them. You can actually ask them to, you can actually change them to a group that can copy the same thing your main is doing and send somewhere to. So the way it works is, if I shift something on my main bus, you understand, on my channels, you understand, all these things are going to my main bus. So it's actually going to affect essentially my main bus. But now I still have my mix bus 1. Let's say my kick is on channel 16, and my kick is in the house, which I've pushed up already, and I want to send it to a drummer's in here, which is assigned to mix bus 1. How do I send it? There's a powerful button over here that is being called it's called send on fader, and what that button does is it will flip your main fader and change it to what is going into that bus. So if I have this that is going to my main bus, if I press that button, if I select my bus 1 and press that button, see, everything will come down. My old channels will not change to show me what is going into that bus. I can now push my kick into that bus, you understand, and make sure I switch off that button back. Because if I don't switch off that button back, I might think pushing things in there, not knowing I'm spoiling a mix in somebody's ear. So that's why you have to always switch it up back, and that's why it's always blinking red. When you switch it on, it's always blinking red, flashing red. You understand? So you always have to switch it off back. So let's bring down these channels back and go back into the bus and bring down our kick back. So the same thing. So you can make different mixes for different buses and send to different places. So this is my main bus. This is my drum EM monitor. So you need this kick, the snare, the tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, the overheads, bass, piano, different mixes. And mix buses in his ear is a drummer. What does he need most? He needs the cue or the track, you understand, or the loop, like we call it in Nigeria. He needs it more in his ear, so it has to be the loudest in his ear. Then the other thing that can now follow, maybe is his kick drum and his snare, then maybe the bass or the talking drum. You understand? You can solo that bus and create a custom mix for that drummer. Then you can now go to your mix bus too. Always don't forget to always switch off your sense of fader. You can now go to your mix bus too. You understand? Which is your keyboardist in here, your pianist in your monitor. You can select it and flip fader too and create a custom mix for him too. And you know, if he's a pianist, what he wants to hear most in his ears is piano. After the piano, maybe he wants to hear the loop, so you push it not to be as loud as his piano. And maybe next he wants to hear his bass, and maybe now wants to hear the kick drum next, then the snare. He now wants to hear the lead vocal. You understand? So you can create different custom mix for how many bosses? For 16 good bosses. So you have 1 to 8, then your 9 to 12. Then this 13, 14, 15, and 16, they are also mixed bosses, but they are already assigned to effects. So how do we connect effects to the board? So imagine you have a reverb device that has what do you call it? A reverb device that has that is an analog reverb device that is outside the board, and you need to get your mic. You understand? You need to make it have reverb. You understand? So how do you patch that particular reverb device to your board? So you know that your reverb device has input and it has output. So what's coming into the input is a dry signal, which means an unaffected signal, right? Then what's coming out is the wet, which is the affected signal. So if I use my mix bus 13, you understand, and I send my mix bus 13 through an output 13 to a reverb device, which is this, into the input of the reverb device. So whatever the reverb device has done on it, I mean the wet signal, where is it coming back to? It has to come back to the board so that we can hear the reverb. So that's what those purple channels are for in your third layer, your third bank. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is at the effect sense, going to the effect, then coming back to the board as stereo channel. So it's going in as mono, going out as mono, then coming in back as stereo. So you actually have 8 channels: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you look at it, they are linked. These two are linked, these two are linked, these two are linked, and these two are linked. So they are actually stereo channels as effect returns for this effect sense. And where are the effects? They are actually built into the boards. You understand? And the reason why they're coming back as channels is because they want you to be able to send them into different buses too. If they don't come back as channels, you understand, you will not be able to send them into buses. You understand? So that's what effect send and effect returns are for. So this last 4 mix buses are already used to do that already. You understand? So they're already assigned already. So I can actually deassign them and turn them to output buses if I want. I can decide to put these 4 effect buses on the first 4 buses of my or the first 1, 2, 3, 4 buses. You understand? I can actually put the effects on them. So you can actually customize this console to whatever you want. You understand? It's okay, all right. My pleasure, Basit. So that's how it works. You can actually send you can actually customize the console to whatever you want, but there are limits actually. So that's just for mixed bus sense. Please let me on this AC, please. Let me on this AC. So let's keep on going. So that's just for mixed buses. You understand? You can change the configuration of each buses, and it happens over here on your home. You go to your home and you select your bus 1. On your home, you see configurations. Let me switch to the other camera. Transition. So on your home, if you click on your home, first thing you see is your configuration, an overview of your configuration. You see your inserts, your inputs, your EQ, your dynamics, and your outputs. Then if you switch on this right button here, you can actually scroll and keep on going. So the next is your configuration. So this is the configuration of the bus. You can tell the bus to be on custom. You can customize it, you understand? Or you can tell the bus to come from your input, meaning everything you did on a channel doesn't affect that bus. If you put it on prefader, you understand, what will happen is everything you're sending to your main will not affect the levels that is sending into that bus. But if it's on post fader, if you drop that level in your main bus, it's also going to drop in that bus. If it's on subgroup, you understand, it's going to send that channel on it's going to send that channel on 0 dB, you understand, to that bus. So moving your main bus, you understand, will also affect what's going into it, but inside the bus it will be on 0 dB. So you can actually change the configuration of every bus. So that's it for your mixed buses. Then let's go to your matrix buses, which is the last buses on your last bank on your output section. So matrix buses are also purple in colors. And what did they do? So matrix is more complex than your mixed bus. So while mixed bus can carry channels to certain places, matrix buses can carry buses to other places. That's how complex it is. And when do you use matrix buses? If you don't understand, you can actually tell me to explain again. I can come again, you understand, so you guys can understand. So remember, matrix buses, you understand, input buses carry channels. You can send different mix of different channels to those buses. You understand? If I send a different mix to bus 2, I can change the mix, send something else to bus 3 and change the balance of every instrument. But matrix buses can send buses itself, these buses to hit itself. So I can use matrix 1 to copy my main bus and send somewhere else. You understand? I can use my bus 2 to copy my main and send somewhere else. I can use my bus 3 to copy my main. Am I being very detailed? You understand it? So I can use this matrix buses to copy buses. Those that what matrices are for. So imagine this is my main left and right, and I want to, my left and right is already doing my left front of our left and right, and I want to copy that same mix and put in a delay system. I want to delay. I can actually use link two buses, that's matrix bus and matrix 1 and 2, link them together and send my main bus into these matrix buses. You understand? Which I'm going to show you how to do, not really in this video, in another video. You understand? To send your main bus into matrix and now send that matrix to an output from the board, then to an amp which is running your delay system. I can take your matrix 3 and copy. I need to run your front fuse. I can take my matrix 4, use it to run my side angles or out fuse. You understand? I can even take it and use it to do my side fuse on stage, anything. So that's what matrices are for. Matrices are for copying buses. You can send buses in different channel, in different levels too. So a matrix is very complex. And when you go to other professional buses, other professional consoles, you find out that professional consoles, you can also send buses and channels at the same time to matrix. That's how fun it is. And some professional consoles, like the Behringer Ring, which has an update. I think the Behringer Ring firmware 3.0, you can actually send buses to buses. Like, that's very crazy. You can send buses to buses. I can send my bus 1 to bus 2, bus 2 to bus 2 to bus 3, bus 3. So you can keep on going like that. So it's very surprising. Are you seeing how back forward analog mixer is? Can you do all that on analog mixer? You can't. So leave the sample rate conversion and all those things they say analog mixer can do. You understand? There's a lot digital mixer can do. And funny enough, what I'm just telling this console can do, you understand, many other consoles of this same grade can't really do it. Things like the Prisoners 64S, Prisoners Studio Live 64S, the QU32, Allen and Health QU32, what other board that are around 24 to 32 inputs, some other boards too, like the Yamaha TF3, Yamaha TF5, You understand? They can't do all of this. You understand? So this Midas M32 or the Behringer X32, which is the twin brother to this guy, can actually do a lot of tricky things. The routing is so complex. You understand? And some people are just playing the basic route and routing they are sharing. They cannot really. I can actually do what we call illegal routing on this board, like illegal routing. I can do some crazy things on this board that you never think of. You understand? Because audio engineering is all about learning the fundamentals and applying the fundamentals to different situations. You don't have to necessarily do what they taught you to do. You need to work with the fundamentals they gave you and use it to create and solve problems. So um that's for matrix bosses. Then after your matrix bosses, you have six matrix boxes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You understand? There is a blank channel over here. That channel, there's nothing on it. It's not even working. That's a blank channel. And after it, you have your mono boss. That's your mono center boss. Then lastly, you have your main boss, which is beside it. Both of them are in white colors. So on your mono center boss, what's it used for? Now, the same way you can send things to your main left and right, you understand? You can send this to your mono center bus, but it's just a mono bus. It's not a stereo bus, which is left and right. You cannot pan anything. So we use mono bus most times for subs. So we will send the same thing we are sending to our main bus to the mono bus. You understand? But things that don't really need low end, we don't send them to that mono bus, which we are using for our subs. Because like it or not, some people will actually use their matrix. I told you matrix can copy buses. They use their matrix to copy their main bus, then take out the high end. You understand? So it can play only low end and send to their sub. And that's not a wrong way to do things, you understand? But there are some implications while doing that. Microphones are dumb instruments, you understand? And as I'm handling this microphone, you can hear some sounds. If I even take out my EQ on this microphone, you'll be hearing some kind of weird rumbling sound in the background. So if you send your microphone to the sub, what will happen? You start hearing those rumbling in the subs. So that's why you don't want your mics in the subs. But you need to send things that have low end to the sub, like your kick, your toms, your talking drum, what other things, your bass guitar, your piano too. It needs to go to the sub. You understand? Some people feel like you don't need to put it, but there's something about identity. And when you're splitting your mix, you understand, into sections, you start destroying the identity of a particular channel. So let me give you a reference of what I'm talking about. So this I'm trying to say is only professionals that will understand what I'm trying to say. Now imagine you have a bus, you understand, a mono bus you want to use for your sub, you understand, and because no, let's use matrix. Let me not use your mono bus. So imagine your left and right is going to your main array. You now use your matrix one to copy your main array and send to your subs. You understand? Come on, you move the hand, you now send it to your subs. So now what will happen is that yes, your sub will play the low end. You understand? So your sub actually has a range is playing. So let's say your sub is playing from 20 hertz to 100 hertz, and your main system, which your line here, is playing from 100 hertz to 20 kilohertz upward. So now your sub is playing from 20 to 100, which that's not realistic. Most times in live sound, we run our subs from 30 or 35 upwards to 100. We only go down to 20 because 20 are infrasonic or ultrasonic frequencies that you cannot really hear, you understand, but they can disturb you, disturb your subs from vibrating well. So we most times we run our subs from 35 hertz upward to 100 or 30 hertz. So let's say your sub is starting from let's say 20 hertz, you understand, to 100 hertz, and your top is running from 100 hertz to 20k. So what happens when your piano, the range of your piano is starting from 80 hertz to 20 kilohertz? So what happens when you just send your piano just to the top. It means that remaining 80 hertz, because your top is started from 100, that remaining 80 hertz, it means you are going to throw it away and it's going to affect your overall mix. So those little things like that make your mix sound weak. You will not even know, because you're not really paying attention to those things. So the reason why we use mono channels is we want everything that needs that low end, anything that is below 100 hertz, you have to send it to your sub. You have to, you understand, send it to your sub, and stop using the send to your sub, you understand, as that AC is becoming very cold, Abby. So stop using the send to your subs as to get more low end out of your instrument, because that's what I watch most people do. I've been beside some people and I'll just be like, what's this guy doing? You understand? You are trying to what do you call it? You need low end out of an instrument and you're using the send to your sub to control the low end. That's very, very wrong. So if this is a particular channel, let me use my channel 4, which is empty, press V on my EQ. So if this your particular channel is this is this frequency spectrum, and you need to take out the low end. So taking out the low end, you don't need to drop it from your sub. You can simply use your equalizer or your low cut to take out the low end this way. This is how to do it. Not using the send to your subs to control the amount of low end. That is weak mixing. That's what novice guys do. I watch so many do that and I'll just be like, what are you doing? So frequency also has routing. If my channel has 50 hertz and I on my bus one I cut 50 hertz away, by the time my channel 1 is going to that 50 hertz, that 50 hertz will be gone. So even if I send my microphones to the sub, you understand, if I pass it, like this my microphone over here is starting from 100 hertz up. So even if I send it to my sub is starting from 80, it's not going to enter into my sub because I've removed that low end from that channel. So that's how to run your subs. You have to run your subs on a mono center bus, you understand, not on your matrix. For those of you that understand what I'm saying. So that's for matrix buses and your main bus, you understand. So now let's move to your channel strip and some how to navigate around. Now this is your channel and everything over here are processes. I told you this is your configuration, your dynamics, and this is your equalizer. I stopped at bus sense. Now you can actually, I told you if you want to send something to a bus, you can select that bus and flip sense on fader and make what you want to do inside the bus and come out from that bus, enter into another bus, click sense on fader, then change mix into that is going to another person's ear or a monitor. You understand? This bus sense also does the same thing. What's that? I'm scared. So this bus sense over here do the same thing. So if on my bus 1 I want to send my channel 16 to my bus 1, I can select my bus 1 and click sense on fader and put it on 0 dB, right? And switch sense on fader. So it's actually already going to my bus 1. If you look over here, you can see my bus 1 is already lighting up because my voice is going into the bus 1. So another way I can do it is, let me move that channel from that bus, drop it down, then switch it off. It's no more going to that bus, that's stop working. So another way I can send my channel 16 to my bus 1 is selecting that bus 1 and using this bus sense. You understand? So this is, you are seeing 4 knobs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are seeing 4 buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these 4 buttons, they're responsible for banks. I told you that's how digital mixers works. They store things in banks that you cannot really see. You understand? So if you want to send your channel 16 to bus 1, so if you click on this guy over here, this is showing you 1 to 4. That means this is your bus 1, bus 2, bus 3, bus 4. If you change to 5 to 8, you change to bus 5, bus 6, bus 7, bus 8, then change there, then 9, 10, 11, 12, then we change into the last bank, then 13, 14, 15, 16, which was our effect scene. So if I do like this, if I click on my bus 1 to 4, this is my 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to send my channel to that bus. Since my channel is selected, I can just twist like this and start going to that bus. If you can see over here, you can see my channel is beginning to light up. You understand? It's already entering into that bus. If I want to send to my bus 2, I can do the same thing. That same channel 16, change to bus 2. You understand? And keep on going. You understand? That's how it keeps on going. I can keep on. If I want to send to my bus 5, I know that my bus 5 is on the second bank. Switch on my second bank and push on bus 5. So watch bus 5 light up. So bus 5 is beginning to light up. So, and if you check inside those buses, they're actually there. They've actually moved. Flip fader, it says on 0 dB. This one too is also there. It's also there. But the buses I didn't say any there are not there. So let's bring down everything back into that was entering into the bus. So there's one last way too that I don't hide it from people. That is only professionals that know how to send to those buses. So sending to buses, you have 4 ways, but people only know 2. You understand? Sometimes people only know 1. So another way is, I told you can select the bus, then you can select flip on fader, sense of fader, then push that channel into the bus. Another way you can do is select the channel, sense of fader, and push the bus. That's another way. Just watch. See anything into the bus now. So that's another way you can do it. So now let's use our 13, 14, 15, and 16 as what they call it, as an example. Now my 14, 15, 16, my 13, 14, 15, and 16 are effect buses. And if you come over here to our effect, we have home, meters, routing, setup, library, effect, moves group, and utility. Though in those ones, I think this video is already going very long, but I still feel like I want to finish everything up today, which is very, very long. So anyone can actually watch and know that you watching this video, everything you want to ask is inside that video. So on my bus 13, 14, 15, and 16 is an effect send. And how do you see those effects? If you go down to effects here, effect home. Let me change to my screen so that you can see my screen. Transition. So I'm not sure this thing is very clear for you guys to see. It's looking a little bit blur because the camera is zooming inside. So let's keep on going. So now this is my effects rack session. So I have 8 effects rack, 8 stereo effects racks. And on my first 1 to 4, you are seeing bus 13, 14, 15, and 16. So on my bus 13, there's a vintage room reverb inserted on it. On my bus 14, there's a aural reverb inserted on it. On my 15, there's a stereo delay inserted on it. On my bus 16, there's a stereo chorus inserted on it. So these 4 buses, there are things already inserted on it. So if I send anything to this bus, it's going to my bus 13, it's going into this vintage room, and it's coming out from the vintage room, coming back through these channels. So these channels too are sent to your main bus. So if I do a practical, let me send my voice into my bus 13, which is vintage room. If you take a listen, you hear my voice inside. So let me select my bus 13 and click send on fader, then push my voice gradually. I will need to hear it. Check. So it sounded like your church that they would just build church like what they call it. So that's for bus 1. There's a vintage reverb on it. So you can actually control the parameters of the reverb. So if you selected effect over here and select that bus, it will change from showing your O rack to showing that particular effect. So if I select my bus 1, it's showing me the reverb and the parameters I can adjust. So right now, The reverb has its own parameters, the reverb delay time, the decay time, which can make it longer. If I send to 5 seconds, if I send my voice, remember I was still on say that friend, so I can still push my voice inside. You hear it longer for 5 seconds. Check. So that's how it works. So if I check my other buses, which is my bus 14, as another one, which is an all reverb. If I do sense and fader, this is how it sound. Check. You understand? It's a shorter reverb. Then on the next bus, I have a stereo delay. Let's check what is inside. Let me send my voice into a check. Then on my last bus, I have a stereo chorus. What do we stereo chorus for? Although understanding this effect, I'll still do a whole video on effects. You understand? On the effect on these boards and the effects that you need. It's not everything on this board you can use. Even I myself, I have not used all the effects on the board, and I don't even know how some of them works because I don't really need them. So what stereo chorus does is it can multiply your voice and make you sound like plenty people that are talking. So if I send my voice into that bus 16, which a stereo chorus, which is a modulation effect, is on it. By saying this, it sounds check. Eh? I used this kind of it's chorus and kind of stereo chorus. So we use this guy for most times. We use it for backing vocals to make them sound fuller. So that's for the effect. So coming back to our bus sends now, I told you can use this section as a bus send too. You understand? So if my reverb is on bus 13 and I want to control my effects, I can just click this guy down here, which is bus 13, 14, 15, and 16. So automatically, if I select this my voice and I push it to enter into that reverb, check, then turn it back down, then into the second reverb, check. Then I can turn it into the what effect was on Xbox 14. Select it, let's see.
15.
Okay, stereo delay on 15. And that was stereo delay. So let's select and send it to stereo delay. Check. I see. So you can send to multiple effects at the same time. Then send to reverb too. Then send to the full reverb. Hey, check. So I'm sending my voice into multiple effects at the same time. So let's remove them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So my voice is sounding dry again. Dry as before. So let's keep on going. Let me check my charts. Jafet, Akusa, Sasa. What's the problem? You guys just want to whine me today. So let's keep on going. This is just 1 hour. Don't worry, Shibi, I don't want to learn. You want to learn, don't worry. I'll make sure you suffer. You suffer very much. So that's for effect. So that's for your bus send. Now let's go to our recorder. Our recorder has it also has a V button. This is where you can record, you understand, and playback. The configuration is where you can set what bus you want to send to your recorder. You understand? So you can assign some buses and send signal to them and send it to your recorder to record. Or you can just quickly record your main left and right. So that's for your main left and right. That's for your recorder, sorry. Then this parameter over here is for your main bus. You understand? So if I remove my channel, I can tell my channel to be on the main bus. If I switch it off, so if I switch it on back, it start working back. This one is mono sent to that channel I told you we use for subs. You understand? So there is nothing much to do about it. So this first one is your pan. Right now, if I pan, you're not going to hear anything because I'm not I'm not sending stereo signal from this board to my sound card, which is feeding the live stream. So it's just a mono signal. So remember I said you guys can ask questions. Anything you don't understand, ask me now. I'll actually explain it down for you right here on this live. So this stereo bus is used for if you switch it off if you switch off any channel on your stereo bus, you stop going to your stereo bus, and you switch on your mono bus, you stop going for your mono bus. This is your pan button, and this is your mono send button. So that's how it works. So then let's start moving to the other parameters on the right side of the bus on the board. Now this is where it gets a little bit complex. So it gets complex a little bit. Let's start with let's start with your mood group. Yes, which is the easiest. I'm not sure you guys can see this mood group. Can you shift your power back a little bit? Just remove it for the meantime. You are going to put it back. So let's start from this parameter over here, which is tagged mode group. So this mode group section now, what it does is instead of muting, each channel now has, if you select a channel, everything here, your configuration, your preamp, your equalizer, your bus, and everything is working for that channel. You select another channel, everything is working for that same channel. So you have to make sure your channel is selected before you do anything here. Unless you want to adjust your kick drum, you forget that you're not selected on that channel. You now start spoiling another thing somewhere else. So I told you the flexibility makes it complex. So you have to be very careful. You understand that your select button is always on. You need to always select any channel you want to work on. So you have on a channel strip, you have select. The next thing you have is your meter, which is what you use to gain stage, or it shows you how loud a particular instrument is. Then the next thing you see is your solo button. So if you solo your channel, you understand, it's going to go to your headphones so you can listen and cue that channel. Then the next thing you see is your LED screen, and your LED screen is also a very powerful screen that can show you the name of a channel and show you the icon of the channel. You can actually change the color. If I go down to setup, I can change the channel to green. I can change it to different colors, you understand, and still invert their colors, then change to blue. So I can change to black, switch off the channel. So let's change to white. I like white. So no, I like green. Yeah, I like green. So this is for the channel strip. Then after the screen, you have your mute button, which if you remote, my channel stops going, switch it off. Check. So that's your mute button. Then after your mute button, you now have your main fader, which you can use to control and balance the volume of a particular TV. I bring my voice down into this. I increase it. I can increase it. I can do a lot of things to it. So right now it's just on 0, which is unity, and everything is going to your main board. So now let's go to our mute group. Now, if my first 8 channels is drums from year to year, instead of switching, doing like this, I want to mute everything and doing like this, I can assign all of them to a mute group, which is here. You now understand the reason for the mute group. And the way you do that is you go to your mute group here over here, hold it down, just press it down, then you have to hold down your mute group, hold it down, you understand, then select all the channels you want to enter that mute group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when you leave it down, you can move away from mute group. Automatically, when you just press that one button, it moves those channels you assign to it. Are you seeing? So I can actually put more than 8 channels. I can put plenty channels inside it. Our mode group, then press down, keep on going. So I can mute. I see all my channels are switching off. So that's I can assign one. So I can also assign my mute group 2 to mute something else. To mute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you can assign your mute group 1 to drums, mute group 2 to your backing vocals, your mute group 3 to what? Your keyboards or your stand. So you can actually you have 6 mute groups you can actually assign to anything. So let's jump. So that's just for the mute groups. So let's jump to I don't want to go to this assignables yet because it's very very hard. It's very very hard. Seriously hard. Let's jump to our monitor parameter. Let's press view on our monitor parameter. So on our monitor, you have different things you can do. You can do exclusive last. You can do solo follow select. So if I click on solo follow select, so if I solo a channel, it automatically select. So if I select a channel, this board, no, select follow solo. Let me see. Okay, this is for. So, but I don't know why this solo follow select is not switching on. So it's very. So this board is a very old board and it's misbehaving. So you also have every other thing you can do. There's channel solo after fader level. That's AFL. When you see AFL, that what it means after fader level. Then mix boss solo AFL. Then you have DCA solo AFL. And sorry guys, I jumped something. I just remember. It's what we call DCAs too. On your output sessions, I told you have 16 mix bosses. You understand? Sorry, you have 24 mix bosses. You have 12 mix bosses, then 14 effect. Sorry, 12 mix bosses, 4 effect bosses, 6 matrices, 1 mono center boss, and 1 main left and right boss. So that's just for the output section. You still have something over here. The last one over here, it is up over here. We switch on it. These are called DCs. You understand? And what we use DCS to do is to group things. So imagine you have drums, you understand, and this is how you want your drums to be like this. You understand? And you want to bring down your own drum. Instead of doing like this or trying to bring everything down at the same time, you understand, scattering the balance, you can just assign all of them to one fader. And when you bring this down, all the channels will come down in volume. They will not move, but they will come down in volume, going to your main bus. So if I put my channel, if I just put this my voice on DCA1, which I will select and hold down and press my channel, select my channel, so it's already assigned to that. You can see the DCA is already moving. This is so I can now bring down my voice for me. So DCA is for groups, you understand? You can see my voice is not moving. So that's what DCAs are for. They are for mix. They are for groups, things in group. So your drums, your BGV, you can guitar,
audio amplifier,
your keyboards, your what else are in groups. So you can actually assign your channels to one group 2, which is a DCA, which only controls volume and nothing else. So that's for DCAs. They're not hard to use. You understand? So let's go back to our monitor. On our monitor, we have talkback A. So you have talkback B, you have oscillator, and you have your lamp. You actually plug a lamp to the board so that it can shine down. So these guys, there is nothing really going on over here. So this talkback A is for, you know what talkback is for, talking into. You can select what channel you want to talk back into. So if you come over here, this is on talkback A. You can talk back to bus 1. You can see it's showing bus over here. Talk back to bus 1 or talk back to bus 2 if you want. Or you can talk back to bus 1 and bus 2 at the same time. You understand? You can talk back to multiple buses. So you have two talkbacks. You have talkback A and you have talkback B. So that's just for talkback. Then this is for switching on the talkback and switching off. And this is the talkback level. You understand? You can also do auto diminish if you send your talkback to a bus. So if you want your talkback to diminish, that means anytime you talk, everything on that bus has to reduce so that your voice can cut through. You can also do that. So the same thing applies to your talkback B, but the difference between your talkback A and talkback B is your talkback A can only press down and release, but your talkback B, you understand, can stay. So that's the difference. So then last thing is your oscillator. Your oscillator is just a frequency generator. We used to send some kind of test tones to either tune your system or test some speakers or test outputs. So over here you have generate. So this is if you check over here, this is showing left and right. It's showing it on left and right. I can send the oscillator to my bus 1 or my bus 2. You can only send it to one bus at a time. So if you send it to my left and right bus, if I press generate, what will generate is pink noise over here. I see pink noise. If I do like this, you guys will get pink noise. So that's for the pink noise, and you can control the level of the pink noise. You can reduce it. You can increase also. And they also have white noise too. So come over here, white noise. Change it back to pink noise, which is heavier than white noise. Then you can change it to a test tone. So that's 100 Hz. So you can change the frequency from 100 Hz to I'm sure you cannot hear those frequencies on your headset. Can you hear 63? What of this one? Wow, that headphone is... You cannot... Well, I can hear it on your in-ear monitor system. So if you're not a good headphones, you cannot really hear these frequencies that I'm playing right now. So these are the frequency. I use sine waves to test my subs, to test what frequency my subs can produce. So if my subs is not producing from 50 Hz downward, that's a very, very stupid sub. So I cannot use it. I'm not going to use it at all for a show. That's just for subs. You understand? I can't use subs that cannot produce low end. So this is sine wave. You understand? There are other types of test tones. You understand? So that's just over for the monitor and talkback. The next thing we have is your show file over here. If you check this parameter, let me change it back to my full screen. So if you check this parameter over here, you see this place shows show control. And what is it for? This is for saving your file. These are cues. These are scenes. You can see so many scenes over here. Oba, body. You can see mine over here, Toby. So I have so many scenes. These are snippets. These are parameter save, channel save, MIDI save. To cut things short, I will not really go through everything, but most things we use over here is scenes. So if I save this scene to an empty scene over here and just press save, confirm, save. I don't even put any name and just save. If I scatter anything on the board, if I move things on the board, if I load it, it's going to come back to where I left it. So that's for saving things on the board. And I can also delete some presets by going to utility. Then I can delete this scene, confirm. I can delete all these scenes on this board if I wanted. So we also have on the scene control, we have last, next, undo, and now. If I press undo to go back to the previous scene I did, which I changed. So that's for the undo button. The last thing I want to go through now is the assignables. Assignables is very easy, but some people see it hard. Some people have never used that place in their life, but it's very, very easy. So let's just click on view on it. So what are assignables for? Assignables are for buttons and knobs you can use to assign things to. So on your assignables, there are three sets. This is set A, set B, and set C. So set A now, I can assign this knob to do something I want. Understand? I can assign it to control the volume of the fader volume of my this. So I can assign this knob over here to shift the volume of my channel, or do the panning, or do my effect send. So if I come over here to set A, so let's do this. Come over here to set A, and I do encoder 1. This encoder 1, I can tell it that I want it to do selected channel. Then on selected channel, I want it to do fader. Yes, and fader on channel 1. So if I push this guy, it will move my channel on the board. Just watch over here. If I turn this guy, you can see my channel is moving. I can assign it to different things. I can assign encoder 2 to fader 2 if you want, which is useless. So it's encoder 3. Sorry, it's on encoder 3. That's the mistake I made. So I've already assigned encoder 3 to channel 2. So it's moving. You can see it is moving. So that's how it works. So you can actually do buttons too. So you have set A, set B. So if you have 4 encoders and your 5 is buttons, the 5 to 12 are buttons. So I can tell my buttons to do mutes. So I can tell my button 5 is already assigned to mute your effect return. So if you come over here, button 5 is supposed to mute my effect return. So 5, so I see is muting this guy over here. Then this one's supposed to mute the next one. Then this one. What's this one for? So this one is assigned to another thing. Let's see what button 7 is assigned to. Effect button, then effect program. That's my effects 3. It's actually doing timing. So this guy is for actually tempo. It has been assigned to tempo, tap tempo. So you can actually do something else with your set B and your set C. You can do different things if you want. You can do your sets. You can do your sets. Your set A, B, and C. You can assign different things so that you can have extra things. So imagine you want to be working on something and you just want to put your effect send here and make sure that it's somewhere that nobody is touching it. You understand that kind of thing, and you can actually quickly jump to it. You can actually use your assignables. So that's all about navigating around the board. So let's check what is inside our home. So most times what's inside our home button is you have your home, then configuration for the selected channel, then your gates, then your dynamics and your EQ, then your sends. This is your send, your O sends 1 to 16, then your main, your stand. So that's all that is inside your home. That's where you can switch on your 48 volts. It's also the same thing. Switch on your 48 volt on your switching on, then your polarity switch on that same channel. It's the same thing. So you can assign it to the CA1 over here, to most group 1 over here. So that was configuration. You can change the configuration. You can tell any channel to come from any inputs. You understand? So this is I'm currently selected on channel 16 and my channel 16 is collecting from input 1. So that's for digital mixer for you. Then this is your gates. These guys you work through them in other lessons. This is your dynamics, which is your compressor. This is your EQ, this is your send, and this is your main. That's all under your home. And when you go to your meters, with your meters you can see the metering of your whole channel at once. So if anything is feeding back, like you have microphones that are feeding back, you can actually rush, you understand, and just click on your meter button. And when you click on your meter button, it will show you that exact channel. You see it picking red, you understand. So it's not that your microphone feeding back. You now start searching for the channel, start flipping fader. You don't know what it is. You can just go to your meters and look at the whole 1 to 32 and to show you what is really feeding back. Then over here you have your gate gain reduction. Then over here you have your dynamics gain reduction. So to show you, so you see on my channel one, you're seeing it's actually dropping my voice. I have a compressor activated on it and it's showing me everything. So this is just metering for your channel. Then this is metering for your mix buses, your market buses, your main bus, your sub, and their dynamic reduction. Then this is your aux and your effects send and return. Then this is for your in and out at the same time. You can see the what's coming out from your monitor, your AES EBU. Those ones are complex things that you don't really need to know at the moment. So these ones are for your, you can see your P16 out, you can see your output at the same time, you can see your aux returns, your aux sends, everything at the same time. Then this is RTA. So this RTA, this is where you do the census of your RTA. Your RTA is for, I told you your RTA means real-time analyzer. It shows you the frequencies on the spectrum, things that are working. So you can see the frequencies that are bouncing around. These are the frequencies that are in my voice. It's showing me visually. So RTA are very, very important. Then you have auto mix. Auto mix is for, we use auto mix for when you have multiple mics switched on, and those multiple mics you want to let's say you have a podcast and you need to control the volume of everybody's talking at the same time, and when you have multiple mics that are on, there is more tendency for feedback. So that's why you need to do auto mix. So auto mix will only appear on the first 8 channels of a mixer. So if that's where you've put your drum, sorry you can't use it. So that's for auto mix. Let's jump into routing. So this routing is for another day. I'll do a full video on routing, and this routing is complex. So you have your 1 to 8, your 9 to 16, your 17 to 24, and local, and your 25 to 32, then your auxing. So you can tell your 1 to 8 to drag from anywhere. You can drag from AES. AES 50 is the network protocol Midas and X32 series used for communication. You can tell it to come from card. You have 2 AES, you have AES A and you have AES B. You can tell it to come from card, which is USB playback. So this mixer is also a very big sound card. It can also send audio, 32 channel audio to your DAW, and it can send back into your mixer. It can send 32 and receive 32 at the same time. Then you have user in. So this user in is for customization. I can tell it to come from user in and go and edit that user in. So this is your AES A, and this is your AES B. So these are all network protocols. This is all for patching. I cannot really start explaining it to you now because you won't get it. This is AES B, then this is card. So this is where you're sending to your card. So you're sending your local to your card. Anything you plug to the board, you're sending it directly to your DAW. But if your inputs are from a AES, that means a stage box, you're using two cables to collect audio from a stage box, you know you have to tell your card to collect from that AES, unless you be sending what is entering into your local, and there's nothing entering into your local. So that's a very big mistake. Then is your XLR, you understand, ports. So right now is our output 1 to 4 that is going to our XLR out 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16. Then you get over here, then you now start seeing your output 1 to 16. So you can see output 1 is already assigned to mixbox 1 automatically. Output 2, mixbox 2, 3, 4, that is going. But when it gets to 9, 10, let's keep on going. When it gets to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, then your 15 and 16 now are not assigned to mixbox 15 and 16. They are assigned to your main left and right. So you click over here, main left and right, you see your 15 is on main left and your 16 is on main right. So that's how they all work. So since your 13, 14, 15 and 16 are used for effect already, that means you still have 2 free channels, 2 free output channels you can use. You can assign matrix to them. So you can assign anything. So I can assign matrix and direct out channels to that output, you understand. So this console can do a lot of things, and even these things you can even do them, whether you can do them on pre-EQ or pre-EQ plus modes, or post-EQ plus modes, or pre-fader or post-fader. I remember I told you about what pre-fader is, what post-fader is, what subgrid is, what custom is, and what input is. So leave it to stay. So that's for output. Then you have aux. So this board has 6. I told you have 6 TRS in and you have 6 TRS out. You understand? That's 6 jack inputs and 6 jack outputs, and this is where you can access them. So then you have your P16 out. This you also have an internet port. You can connect your P16 to, and those internet ports are for you can route different channels you want to the 16 channels you have available to your P16. Then this is your user. I told you if you come over to your inputs and change it to user input, you can now edit your user input. So you can come over here, tell your channel 1 to come from local N1, your channel 2 to come from card. You can scatter it. So channel 3 to come from AS48. So I feel like the routing on this guy is just too much. It can create confusion if you're not careful. So that's just routing. So on that setup, you have global. Under global, you have to show you the version they're running on. I think the IS now is 4.9, but this guy is on 4.6. I mean, it needs to be updated. Then over here, you see your shutdown control, you see your reboots, and you see your update firmware. To update firmware, you need to download the firmware from Midas download or Behringer download. If you're using a Behringer X32, download the file into an SD card, then place on the mixer and load the file. It will update and reboot. Then over here you have your sample rate. This console can only run on 2 sample rates, 48 and 44.100. Then this is the clock source. So you have to always set what clock source you are syncing everything. You have multiple devices, they all have to sync to one person. So there's what we call the mother and the slave. And the mother is what everything is syncing to. So the slave is every other thing I will sync to it. So if I have a stage box which is on my AASA, I have to sync every other thing. If I have multiple consoles that are connected to that same stage box, I have to sync everything to that stage box. So if I want this console over here to everything, if I want this console over here to be the mother and every other thing to sync to it, I have to just select insert now. Then this reset you are seeing over here, you can reset console, which means resetting the whole console. Then you can do show data, libraries, and factory resets, which will make the console new to clear everything you've done. They can back up, export, restore to an SD card, and load somewhere else. You can do a custom boot. You can create. So you can set your time and date. You can set your LCD brightness, and you can set your LED brightness. You can set the LCD contrast. That's all for global. Then over here, configuration, you can have different configurations over here. All these things are hard. They're not hard, but when you know them. They're just different preference, general, overwriting, low, return to last, all these things. You don't really need to know anything about it. This one is your link preference. So when you link to channel, what do you want to link? Is it just the EQ, or you want to link the gain, or link the dynamics, or link the fader plus mood link? You understand that kind of thing. And doing this last one over here says MC master level follows left and right fader level. So this is where I can tell my MC, that's my mono center bus, to I can tell my mono center bus to follow the level of my main left and right. It's over here. Then this guy over here is showing me my bus configuration. So it's showing me current. So I can do 16 plus 00. I can do 00 plus 8 plus 0. So all this is telling me whether which channels are on post EQ or pre-fader or post fader. So you can actually change them. So if I put it on 16 plus 000, that means I'm going to put all my buses on pre-fader. If I put it on post, all my buses on be on post. If I do on 808, I will have my first 1 to 8 buses on pre. Then I'll have 0 group. then I have 6 buttons. So these are just different configurations. This is remote. Remote is you can actually use this console to control um, a DAW. You understand? You can use this console to operate a DAW. You understand? You have different MIDI change and MIDI code program. Then this is network. This is where you set your IP address. If you want to control your mixer wirelessly, there's an internet port. You can plug your cable through into the internet port, and you just press this DHCP and you select a network. Automatically, if your phone is connected to that network and you open any app, you'll be able to find the console right there and connect to it wirelessly. This is the name icon. So this is the channel. You can change the color of a channel, the icon of a channel. You can do shift different disc, guitar. There are names, and this is where you edit the channel. So this is the edit for the channel. You can, although I don't like doing this, I like connecting my phone to type instead of going, because this guy, if I want to write run, I have to like use R, then go over here, U, then keep on scrolling, then maybe come down here like this. I can go horizontal and vertical at the same time. So run. So that's very hard to type. So backspace. I can also suggest kick. You understand? So I can do caps lock, and I can do numbers too, and alphabets. You understand? So um that's for the name and icon. Then you have preamps. This is showing you all the preamps of the mixer. You can see my first mic is on plus 45 dB. You understand? So that's for my mixer. I can lock my stage box. I can do so many other things. So this place too is for professionals. Then this is my card. So the card, I told you there's a sound card at the back of the mixer. You can send 32 inputs and receive 32 outputs at the same time. So that's the way we are able to run virtual sound check. We can send our kick to card 1, snare to card 2, toms to card 3, 4, 5, overheads to 6, 7. You understand? So that's how we run our virtual sound check. Then let's go into library. Library is where you save channel preset. You can see HA configuration. You can see name icon, gate, compressor, equalizer, and send means. So you can save the configuration of a channel and load it to another channel, copy and paste. You understand? So this is to load. You understand? So you can see different presets to load over here. Then you can save your own preset of a channel and load on another channel. So that's for channel. You can save effects. You can save routing. You can save AES50 configurations. You understand? So this AES50 is used for DP488. This is an EM monitor 16. That's the beta version of your P16 we use. You understand? This is a beta version. So that's for library. Then for effects, I told you have 8 effects, 8 stereo effects, which also means 16 mono effects. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from my 1 to 4, I told you they are assigned to my last 4 mix buses, which is 13, 14, 15, and 16. Then 5 to 6, 5, 6, 7, 8 are used. You can assign them to channels directly. So these are dual EQ. I can change which effect I want over there. The compressors, you understand, TSR, graphic EQ, stereo exciter, tremolo, sub octaver. I can change this and change the channel I want it to be on that bus. I say on that bus, on that particular rack. So that's for effects. Then mood group, I told you how mood group works. Then utilities for saving, deleting, loading things from your SD card. So that's all about the console. There's no really other hidden places you can go to. You understand? Then there's this last button over here we call a remote door. That last bus is if you switch it on, your faders will switch to control what is sending to your DAW. You understand? So you can control the channel faders in your DAW. You can control the pan too, and some other things too. So that's it for this console. Navigation, where everything is. There are not so many things or so many places in this console you can actually run to, or no hidden places I've entered into everywhere that you think this console has. I've gone everywhere. I've searched. I've entered into every corner of this console. So this is everything. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Just any questions, don't be shy. You can just write it down in the comment section. I'm currently looking at my comment section. I'm looking at it. Any question you have, just type it down. I can wait around to listen to you so that we can talk about it, you understand, and explain it, because there's some questions you want to ask that so many other people don't know, but they themselves won't ask. So you can ask those questions now. Those that are watching, I'm waiting for you guys. So I can still be live. Anybody that wants to ask questions, ask questions. Femi, do you have question? So that's all about the console. So just write down your questions, you understand. I want to answer some questions before I end this live video. This is very, very stressful. I think this is the longest live video I've ever done. So waiting for you guys. Please ask question. Please ask question. Ask question, please. Ask question, please. This was my power bank. This AC is beginning to freeze my legs. Careful. So I feel like there are no questions because I'm still waiting. And I feel like if there are questions, then somebody will have asked by now. Maybe somebody is still typing. I'll give you 5 minutes to type. You understand? Because I'm trying to end this live stream anytime soon. Thank you guys for watching. So I really appreciate those that are still on this live. That shows people that really want to learn. I know some people have slept off. Actually, it's not easy. It's not easy. So in our next videos, we'll talk about routing. I'll do routing because routing is one of the hardest. I also want to just come and see how things are done. So this is the overview of the console. That's how the console looks like. You can go to the back of the console and give you the channels at the back. So those are all the channels. You can go backward a little bit. So I'm still waiting for questions. Any question you want to ask, you can just ask. Nothing to be shy about. Nothing to be shy about. Nothing to be shy about. Dumb balls. So I feel this is the end of the live video. You guys have been so wonderful. So guys, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys for staying to watch the whole live video. Let's see if it's everyone that stayed. So in my next video I'll talk about routing. Yes, I'll just talk about routing because every other thing is beans. That means it's easy, but routing is hard. Routing and patching is really hard. I'll dedicate a whole 1 hour to 2 hours to route, to show you how routing really is. Thank you guys for watching.